Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. We are in the thick of things. We're in the afternoon of the Brendan Banfield Au Pair Affair trial. Last person who was on the stand was Lieutenant Giacchio. Remember, he was directly reporting to John Patrick Borsch, who at the time was a captain of this case. Who's in charge here? We don't know. There's several different people because there's so much infighting going on in reference to this case. Did the digital forensic expert, Brendan Miller, did he correctly state that Christine was the one that manipulated her phone? She was the one that created the Fetlife account. She was the one that manipulated it. John Brosh said, nope, you can't do that. Only if you see it for yourself or you're standing right next to the person can you say that they manipulated the device. Then it comes into when Juliana Magalhaes recanted her statements. Then a flurry of emails and texts went out to everybody about them revisiting the timeline and going back through the digital evidence. Did they change things up to fit her narrative? That's what the defense is going for. Do you buy it? Is it smoke and mirrors? But we do have questions. Why was the lead detective in the case, Kyle Bryant, why was he reassigned? Brendan Miller was reassigned. And then John Patrick Borsch, the day after the preliminary hearing in July of 25, he retired. Why? I have questions. They weren't answered. Is that detracting from what really happened to Christine and Joe? Or is this all part of the layered of sandwich that the jury then has to take a bite of and decide how they're going to proceed in this case? Let's go. Last person on the stand was Giacchio. Let's go ahead and get right into it and see what he has to say. We're getting into text messages and emails.
Sir, just a reminder, you're still under oath, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, your next question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Giacchio.
Could you move the microphone back towards yourself there?
Big pardon. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh my gosh.
Lieutenant Giacchio, I'm going to ask you to look at what has been identified as Defense Exhibit 102. You recall that conversation and who it was with?
Yes, and it was with Deputy Chief Bruce.
Okay. And Your Honor, if I move that into evidence?
Oh,
Thank you. Any objection?
No, ma'am.
All right, 102 in evidence.
Now, the date is significant for what reason?
I believe that's the date of the proffer.
Okay. And was the proffer occurring at that time?
It was later that evening.
Okay. And what time did the proffer start, do you know, in the evening?
I believe somewhere around 4 or 5 is when we began. I don't recall exactly
Okay.
though. It was in the evening
Okay.
hours.
All right. So this is a text message from Patrick Borsch, who at the time was the captain, and then he went on to be sorry, I gotta look at my notes. He ended up being the deputy chief of major crimes, and then something about deputy chief of support bureau. I don't know. He's had so many things, but remember, he was the one who stated that Giacchio, even though Giacchio had 2 other supervisors above him, that Giacchio was supposed to report directly to him. Okay, it's tentatively scheduled for 3 p.m. Nothing more yet. Wow, big day. You think it's going to happen? I think so.
Were
Wow.
you in the room where the proffer was occurring or the room next door?
Next door.
Okay. And how were you linked up to the proffer?
Offer will be manslaughter with time served after BB
Phone.
trial, Brendan Banfield's trial. That's
Oh,
absolute dog shit. Who's in blue? Let's see. Oh, sorry, hang on. I know in my notes who's saying what. I think Diaccio is in gray and that Patrick is in blue.
Phone was just left open and you could just listen to it?
Correct.
Okay.
Still no more details. On call with Ryan family now. Joe Ryan's family. Agreed. Let's hear what she has to say.
Was there not enough room in the area where the proffer was occurring?
It's a relatively small conference room, but it was a decision of the Commonwealth Attorney who was in there.
Okay, who was the Commonwealth Attorney?
That was Mr. Klingon at the time.
Okay, and was the decision that you would be out?
Yes.
Or there wasn't enough room?
I can't speak to what his mindset was. I mean,
He told you you're out.
correct.
Okay.
That's kind of hearsay, isn't it?
Now,
You're out. Why?
I think we have a previous exhibit where it was requested that you hold back information from Klingon and Kelsey Gill. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Was that around the same time frame as this?
I don't know if you could show me the exhibit. I
Let me
can tell
see if
you.
I can
Yeah.
get the exhibit for you.
Yeah. Okay, remember, I'm coming into this as a jury. I don't really know what happened prior to this. So what happened to the two prior prosecutors on this case? Is the jury going to find out? Are we, oh, I mean, guess we're the jury. Are we going to find out? Okay.
So information from the Commonwealth Attorney. Did it ever come to light that you were holding back information from the Commonwealth Attorney?
We weren't holding back information. It was simply to allow time for, I think, Deputy Chief Bruce to notify up the chain of command.
Oh, okay.
Deputy
So
Chief Bruce.
is that reflected here in this message?
No, but that wasn't unusual.
Okay. Was there some reason that Deputy Chief Bruce or you, if you can answer, didn't want to include the prosecutors in this case?
We always included the prosecutors, but there was a major piece or a major change, then I would notify Deputy Chief Bruce and he would notify it up the chain to the Chief of Police. And we wanted to allow time for him to be aware of it on our side so that he would hear from it from us rather than from the Commonwealth Attorney's office.
Okay, so looking at this exhibit that's been introduced into evidence, was the meeting with Cellbright a major change?
I think that what he's referring to is the blood evidence, not the meeting with Cellbright.
Okay, because
Can we
Cellbright
see it?
doesn't have
What are you
anything to
talking
do
about?
with blood, correct?
No, it doesn't.
No, that's
Okay.
digital evidence.
Okay, I'm just following my questions up on your statement saying whenever there are major changes, we might delay so he can go up the command staff chain before telling anyone else. So what I'm asking about is in this one, is Cellbright a major change?
Judge, I'm going to object. I think objection is to form. Mr. Carroll is misreading the information. There was no meeting with Cellbright. The statement is meeting with task force after Cellbright.
All right. Also
Fair
stands to
enough.
form.
You testified that traditionally
I wish we saw it.
Deputy Chief Bruce would say, hold off, so he could send it up the flagpole, essentially, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But I think you're confusing what information. The information is the blood information that he's asking me to hold off on is the way I understand it.
Well, yeah,
The
that's.
Cellbright has nothing to do with the later statement.
And where does it say that?
Well, I'm saying that.
Okay. And so that would be what you've just testified to was that this would happen when there were major changes, so
Might not
that
be
everyone
immediate,
in
there might be
command
a
staff
third-
could
another
know,
party on there
be
that we
able to
can't
answer questions
see.
by the press and things like that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in this case, what I'm saying is, what is the major change in the case that would cause there to be some delay in talking to the prosecutors?
The blood evidence. So Christine's blood inside Juliana's shoes and on Brendan's pants.
Okay.
That was new information. So that was something that I considered significant.
Okay, you sent that on.
Come on, defense attorney.
And then, so you remember that moment?
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember sending the text, yes.
But do you remember as you're reading this text, what the context of it was?
Yes, we got a lab sheet back that contained new blood information. And I notified my chain of command.
And so what about that would not directly relate to information the prosecutors need?
I'm not really following what you're trying to ask.
Okay, I'm trying to understand
I
why
know.
there's any need to hold back evidence from the prosecutors.
There was no holding back evidence. It was merely giving time for it to get up our chain before the notification was made to the prosecutor's office.
Okay, and you don't know
But it says
specifically
hold-
what that time was?
I think I testified earlier, it was no longer than 24 hours. It was either later that evening or the following day.
Okay, but we're now talking about this major event of the blood evidence that's referenced here, and that doesn't tell you any different?
Objection leading, counsel's testifying.
Christina's leading.
Now that we're identifying what it is that was the major evidence break, do you remember why you were holding back and when you ultimately gave them the information?
Again,
Just answer
Judge
that.
asked and answered.
Right.
He has testified that he does not recall specifically when he shared the information, but he knows that it would have been within 24 hours.
I think that was previously, Judge, when we weren't talking about the major event, which is what he just testified to.
All right, I'll overrule, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat them?
So.
Right, everything's all
What was
convoluted.
it about this major event with, I guess, a lab sheet coming back that caused you to hold it back from the prosecutors? And then my question is, if it's a major event, wouldn't you have an idea of how long you're holding it back from the prosecutors?
I wouldn't say major. It's a significant thing that we get a lab sheet in that shows blood evidence. There's no holding back. The evidence was all provided to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, but we allow time when we get some kind of information for it to go up the chain of command so that they're all aware of it, so that they can, if the Commonwealth Attorney's Office calls over to somebody higher ranking, that they can speak educated about it.
So is that a policy?
I mean, it's just how we do business. There's not a policy.
But I mean, somebody has to determine it's major and somebody has to then make the decision whether it gets held off.
I think it would go to my discretion, whether it's something I'm going to notify my chain of command, and they're going to tell me sometimes they're not, it's not significant enough that they would hold it back. Or perhaps, if it was a phone call and the deputy chief was with the chief or the assistant chief, they could relay it immediately. In this case, I'm assuming that the deputy chief didn't have immediate access and was waiting for some reasonable amount of time so that he could make that notification prior to bringing the Commonwealth Attorney into the loop.
How many times in this case did you find yourself speaking to Deputy Chief Bruce at the time about holding back evidence from the prosecutors?
Again, we're not holding anything back. We're making notifications and then notifying the Commonwealth Attorney.
Well, couldn't it also be done as telling them, hey, we haven't made notifications, keep this under your
Objection leading.
Sustain.
Weren't there other ways to do that with involving the Commonwealth Attorney's Office?
Well, they were involved.
Not if it was being held back.
Objection argumentative.
I'll sustain the objection.
You just testified that they weren't involved because you were holding back.
Objection leading.
Sustain the objection.
Okay. Let's go back to exhibit number 102.
He's trying to get,
This was,
okay. Stop. There was a text message a while back that said, don't tell the prosecutors just yet, based upon what they were, something that they found, right? And so the defense attorney is holding on to that, right? He's trying to hold on to that and trying to get the context from that. And this lieutenant is saying, well, you know, we don't always just blurt out everything to the prosecutor as we're building the case and stuff like that. We hold on to certain things and we don't give certain things. Is there something nefarious about this? I don't know. That's what he's trying. The defense is trying to get that out. I don't think that this witness is going to give it to him.
it looks
Okay.
like
All right, 102, which we just talked about. The text messages between the two of them.
the
We just read
entire
that.
chain was October 25th, which is I think you had previously said was the day that Juliana Perez Magalhaes recanted.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And it looks as though, and Your Honor, I'm sorry, have I moved this into evidence yet?
Yes, that's already been.
Okay,
evidence.
okay. And you're the blue bubbles there, correct?
Correct.
And I guess the offer hasn't been made yet, but you have the offer there, or has it already been accepted?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm aware of the offer. I don't know if it had been accepted yet, I guess is what I don't know the answer to
And
that.
who would have been involved with that process?
The Commonwealth Attorney's Office.
And do you know who made the offer?
I believe it was Mr. Klingon.
Okay, did you talk to him before that
I talked to him.
about the offer?
Yeah, there was discussions throughout the case about a potential offer.
Okay, when was the first time that an offer was made in your recollection?
I don't know.
Could it have been around January 1st? of
Objection leading.
2020?
That is,
How long were offers going on as far as you knew?
I don't know.
Were you privy to all offers that were made?
I don't know.
Do you know of any other offers other than this one being made to her?
I believe there were others. Don't know the ins and outs of them.
Okay. And would that be because of your
bring on the prosecutors.
capacity as a lieutenant in homicide?
Well, the police department investigates and the prosecutor's office prosecutes, so they make those prosecutorial decisions, and I'm not always privy to them.
Okay. How many offers were you privy to?
I know that there were other offers made. I couldn't tell you if it was more than one. I just know that there was discussion that there were previous offers.
Okay. And in
What were the
context of the calendar year, and the big events of that calendar year of 24, were there offers made before Brendan was arrested?
I believe so, but I wouldn't know the details of that.
Okay. Were there offers made before the preliminary hearing that was a cause for concern for the fail-safe?
I believe so, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. That was a pretty big event though, wasn't
The preliminary hearing?
it? Mhm.
Yes.
And that was something that really stood out in your mind?
Objection leading.
All right,
Is that something that stood out in your mind?
I mean, it was the first, with my involvement in the case, it was the first sort of major milestone, I would say.
Okay. At any point,
He's talking about the preliminary. So the preliminary hearing / fail-safe was her, Juliana Magalhaes' preliminary hearing back in October. And so She recanted a year later. She was arrested in October of the year that the event happened, which was 2024. And then she recanted in 2025. Is that right? I'm confused about my dates, but it's okay. So when she initially was arrested and there was a preliminary hearing, they were afraid that they didn't have enough probable cause on her to go through. And so she would have been released. And in that case, then they had another backup plan that she lied on her visa. And so the other people, I don't know, ICE or somebody was going to arrest her. So they had a plan to keep her in jail.
Did you hear of an offer of a misdemeanor for her testimony?
Not that I'm aware of. Or not that
Was
I
it say in
remember.
that
That's
text?
a more appropriate answer.
And I was just going to follow up. There may have been, but you don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Okay. Now, were you involved in any way?
Okay, let me back up. I got the dates. Okay. The event happened February 24th, 2023. Later that year in October 23, she was arrested. In October 2024, she recanted. And then shortly thereafter, Brendan Banfield was arrested in November of 23, and here we are in January of 26.
In
Okay.
your capacity, either
got it.
directing or performing review of jail calls?
I listen to them regularly, yes.
Okay, and you were listening to them,
Objection leading.
were you listening to them when Juliana had been arrested and was in jail and Brendan was out?
I don't recall when I started, but I believe it was before. I at least listened to some. I listened to more after.
Okay, but you were the command staff person. Was there someone assigned to listen to calls all the time?
Yes.
And what was the reasoning for that?
Well, part of it was that with Juliana, she spoke in Portuguese, so we had a Portuguese-speaking police officer that listened.
Okay, was that who was assigned?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the goal of listening to her jail calls?
To gather evidence.
Okay.
So we know a little bit about
Was
the jail
there
calls.
ever any discussion amongst your group about the pressure that was applied to her relating to her being incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay. And was that something that was favorable for what your goals were?
That she had pressure because she was incarcerated?
Yes.
I mean, potentially.
Okay. Were there, in listening to all those calls and having them translated, when you listened to the ones in English, were you concerned about her mental health?
There were times where the officer who was listening had concerns, and we relayed those to the sheriff's department.
Okay. Were there times that you were concerned about her talking about the meetings that she had been with the police in the Commonwealth's office?
I don't recall any concerns about that, no.
Okay, so you didn't hear any calls where she was telling somebody what's going on?
Objection leading.
Sustain.
Did you hear any calls like that?
Like what?
Recounting what the offers were or talking about the case after talking to the police?
Not that I recall specifically.
Okay. And so how often did you find yourself as a supervisor listening to those calls?
If I had free time, I tried to listen.
Was the Portuguese officer that was monitoring them? Was it just on the Portuguese calls?
I think he checked all the calls and he summarized them. So from time to time, he would, send a note if he thought something might be worthy of the detective or somebody on the task force, giving it a listen to see what context it had.
And what kind of things were said?
I couldn't specifically tell you. I would have to go through emails.
So it would be something that would be beneficial to the case. from your
Objection leading.
perspective. Would it be something that would be beneficial to your case?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, anything that he thought was unusual or stood out to him, he would pass on. He wasn't directly involved in any investigation, and hadn't reviewed the whole investigation. So sometimes he didn't really know what something might mean. He would forward it on.
In
was
assigning
it?
him, did you or anyone
Who was
give him
it?
parameters on what you're interested in?
He was assigned before I got there.
Did you ever educate him when you got in there, what you wanted?
No, I don't think there
Gonna
was, like I said, he was there and had been doing that for some time before I arrived.
Now, when you arrived, what were you told to do when you arrived?
My job was to be the homicide supervisor. Also, I was asked to review this case and other open cases.
And were you told to close this case?
Well, of course, that's the goal for any open case.
Specifically this case?
Yes.
Okay. Were you told to clean house in homicide?
If necessary.
Did you ever say,
What? If necessary. Who told you that? Who told you that, sir? Because Mr. John Patrick Borsch said he didn't say that. Who told you that, huh? So he was, okay. Okay, so now we're getting a clearer picture, right? When I said who's who and who's doing what, they didn't like the confidence about this case. They didn't like what was happening. So this dude was brought on, not only for this case, but other cases. But specifically, was told to close this case. Because, remember, this happened in February 24, 2023, and 2023. Later that year, I don't know when this dude started. I don't think they asked him when he started. I don't know. So he said something about a month. Okay.
or what, if anything, did you say about cleaning house of the existing homicide detectives?
I think I told all of them when I first got there that was not my goal. I hope to keep everybody who was there.
Okay. And did
But
people
yet-
leave?
Yes.
Okay. And how many people left the homicide squad?
During my time there, 5 were promoted to sergeant. I think they're all back in the Major Crimes Bureau now, and 1 was transferred out.
Okay. And who was that one?
That was Detective Bryant, or I'm sorry, 2. The Detective Bryant and Detective Hanging were transferred out.
Wait.
Okay.
Hang on. He went so fast. Detective Bryant, who was the lead investigator on this case, transferred out. 5 were promoted to sergeant. Detective Bryant was yeeted, and Detective somebody another, he went so fast. Let me see if I can go back.
Now, and 1 was transferred out.
Okay. And who was that one?
That was Detective Bryant, or I'm sorry, 2. The Detective Bryant and Detective Hanging were transferred out.
Okay.
Hamey. I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Now, did you have any control over Detective Miller being transferred?
No.
No. But Detective Miller was
Were
transferred.
you aware of Deputy Chief Bruce at the time saying that he was no longer working on any major crime bureau cases?
Yes.
And were were you aware of any,
I'm sorry.
you okay? Were you aware of any proceedings for transfer for Detective Miller?
No,
Okay, so you had no say in that?
no.
Okay. Or were your discussions with Deputy Chief Bruce informing him as to his decision to transfer?
I mean, we discussed it, but that wouldn't be, it's not even our bureau at that point, so I would have no real input.
Okay. Now, Detective Bryant, he was transferred,
He was.
and that was, I guess, was the decision around the time of October 25th? Which is,
I think he was transferred in January.
okay, but the decision, when was that made?
Shortly, I mean, probably in January,
Was it
maybe late December.
Was the reason for his transfer the October 25th?
Objection leading.
What, if anything, did the October 25th recant and the time leading up to it, what, if anything, did that do to hasten his transfer?
I think once Juliana came in proffered and provided more context to the evidence, everybody agreed that the evidence was overwhelming and that they had missed the mark, and he was the lead. So that's what ultimately was what caused him to be transferred.
So he was transferred because he didn't get it done. You needed Juliana.
Objection leading.
Sustained deleting?
So am I to understand it was because of
Judge,
Juliana?
that's still leading.
I don't know what the question is, but go ahead.
Were there any other factors that were considered other than what you just testified to as to Detective Bryant's transfer?
When he became aware of the proffer, it was 5 days before he passed that information up the chain of command. So that also played in.
Okay. And
Wait.
his leaving, was that,
I didn't get that. Wait, go back.
testified to as to,
He became aware of the proffer. It was 5 days before he passed that information up the chain of command. So that also played in.
okay. And his leaving, was that,
I don't understand.
how was that characterized?
Did
Was it transfer?
he transfer did he put in his papers to transfer 5 days after the proffer? I'm not sure.
Was it related to discipline because he didn't notify command staff?
No, it was a lateral transfer.
Was that the circumstance of performance management that was talked about last summer?
Yeah, I would say that's
Okay.
the term used.
What is performance management?
Well, if somebody isn't performing at a level that you would expect for the position they're in, you might move them to another unit to gain further experience. And that's what happened in this case.
Do they have a performance management plan for the Norfolk District Attorney's officers that are with MSP? Asking for a friend named Karen Reed. Do they have a performance management plan there? Oh, maybe they do now because lots of people have been rehomed or transferred or retired.
And
Just
he's
saying.
now in digital forensics. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Was that where he was transferred from homicide to digital?
Oh, guess what? We have an opening in digital forensic because we just booted Brendan Miller. So would you like to take that job? Because you're not good as a lead detective in this case. So why don't you go there? Oh dear, you guys need to get your house in order.
Forensics?
No, he went to sex crimes, also in the Major Crimes Bureau.
I went to
Okay,
sex
so
crimes,
sex
okay.
crimes and then now digital forensics.
That's my understanding. I don't have any.
And now
knowledge
he's
of
in
that transfer.
digital.
You haven't
I
kept
wasn't
track
involved in
of
it,
or
no.
anything like that. Now, he was the lead detective on this case from the beginning, correct?
Yes,
From that day on February 24th.
that's my understanding, yes.
And Brendan Miller was the lead digital forensics person from the beginning, correct?
Yes,
From that day on February 24th.
that's my understanding, yes.
And Brendan Miller was the lead digital forensics person from the beginning of the case, correct?
Yes,
And he was the only one that worked on extracting the 60 devices and things like that. Is that right?
I believe so. There's two Brendan Millers. I think they may have helped each other out at points, but so I'm not 100% on that, but I believe the Brendan Miller you're speaking of was the lead.
Is that the one that is sitting in the court right now?
Yes,
Okay. And so that we're talking about the same person.
yes.
And he was also transferred during that time, correct? Within a month, couple months.
I don't recall the exact time he was transferred.
Okay, but it was soon after the proffer and
Yes,
and the back and forth in terms of the emails with Sergeant Ames.
correct. It was right around that time. So
Okay.
if you put that exhibit up, I can give you a better ballpark.
If I said November 7th, November 8th, would you believe me?
If you're representing that that's what it says, then I will accept that.
Yes.
That sounds about right.
And so now I know you weren't in homicide for long, right?
About 11 months.
11 months. And that was before you were transferred.
Correct.
And prior to that, were you ever in homicide as an investigator?
I was not in homicide, but I've been an investigator for most of my career,
Okay.
or supervised investigations.
And your career as an investigator was in narcotics, correct?
Primarily before I came to the police department, I did fraud investigations as well,
Okay, with another police department?
with a private insurance company or insurance agency.
Oh, okay. But in terms of your experience, police experience, you hadn't had any homicide experience up until you got there on March 2024.
Only peripherally. A lot of homicides relate to narcotics, so from time to time we would be involved in that aspect.
But you're never the lead detective or anything like that.
No.
Now, in your experience, does it seem odd that the chief detective?
Objection leading.
I don't know what the question is, so if you want
What's
to
that?
continue your question, I can't rule on
Does
it
it
yet.
seem odd that the chief detective of this homicide case and the chief digital forensic examiner were transferred around the same time?
No.
Have you ever seen a case where the lead investigator is transferred and another lead investigator is transferred prior to it coming to court?
The lead investigator transferred, yeah, I mean, that happens all the time, I think.
In homicide?
In any case, I think there's plenty of homicide cases where they've come to trial and the homicide detective has moved on through promotion or to another unit prior to the trial. That's pretty normal.
Well, there's a distinction in the way you said that. I'm talking.
Objection, counsel's testifying.
Let me ask you a different question. if the case is getting to the point where it hasn't gone to trial and a homicide detective is moving, that's different than what you just testified to, right?
Objection leading?
No, overruled, I'll allow it.
I think that's exactly what I just testified to. Sometimes there's an arrest, there's a transfer, and then there's a trial.
Okay. I think, I mean, I don't want to quibble with you about it, but I think you had said once the case has gone to trial, then the person transferred.
No, that's not, if that's what came out, that's not what I intended. I don't think.
Perhaps I misunderstood.
Yeah, I think it's relatively normal for a homicide detective to leave the unit, whether it be for transfer or promotion, and then still see the case through to trial.
Okay. And when you were transferred, did you have any additional duties with regard to this case
No,
beyond what you had as a watch commander?
not really. I mean, I provided what I had and moved on to my new assignment.
You gave your one drive and then moved on?
For the most part, obviously, I've been here to testify a
Right.
couple times here with you.
So other than being subpoenaed, you're,
No, I didn't have any more investigative responsibility with the case.
do you, or are you aware of whether or not Deputy Chief Bruce, then Deputy Chief Bruce, now Mr. Bruce, has played any role in this investigation since he was transferred to the Administrative Support Bureau up until he left the?
I'm not aware.
Okay. Are you aware of any duties that Kyle Bryant, who was the chief homicide detective, what duties he's had since he was transferred?
My understanding is he remains the lead. I don't, he remained the lead when I left, to put it that way.
Okay, so he was actually still involved in certain things, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Was that while you were still there, or did that happen after you left?
Well, he was transferred when I was still there, but my understanding is he's remained the lead. And if that changed, that would be news to me.
Was that in talking to him?
In talk
Is
about,
that how you learned that? You spoke to?
well, I was still the supervisor, and I told him that he will remain the lead.
Okay. And he carried out his duties as he was supposed to, as far as you know?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And then with regard to Brendan Miller, do you know whether or not he had any responsibilities or obligations with this case?
I don't
After he
know.
was transferred?
That I don't know. I would assume so since he was the lead, but I don't know the answer.
Okay. And in any of the communications about transfer, you weren't privy to that?
So right when he was transferred, there was a couple weeks where we talked about reviewing and he was going through the evidence. Beyond that, I don't know.
Okay. And you didn't keep track of it?
No.
There probably wasn't any reason to keep track of it, right?
Right. I moved to a new command.
Okay. I'm sorry, 102 has been moved into evidence?
102 is in evidence.
Okay. Now, were you when you were speaking to the victim's family, you indicate that you're on a call with Joseph Ryan's family?
Judge, can we identify the exhibit?
Which exhibit?
I don't know what we're looking at. I'm sorry.
Is it still
Can you-
102, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's written on the bottom right corner.
I can't do that.
So were you the main contact for the Ryan family and the Banfield family?
No.
Okay. What was the phone call about?
I think that was filling them in. Well, I don't know. It may have been to fill them in that the proffer was coming, but I don't recall. Looks like it was right before, so I would imagine, but it wasn't a phone call that I set up or led.
Okay, would that be under your umbrella, I guess, or would that be victim services?
I think that was in concert with victim services.
Okay, and so in concert, meaning you were on the phone with someone from victim services?
Yes, I wouldn't have made that call without victim services, but to the best of my recollection, I believe I was just a silent observer in that call.
Who else was on there?
I don't know. I believe that, I don't want to misspeak, I'm not sure.
Okay, I mean, how many times did you talk to the victim's family with someone from victim services?
At each of the hearings, I mean, if they were in town, we always tried to be in the room, or if there was an update, we would update them.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, was this a phone call?
I believe yeah, it's a phone call.
Okay. And so would you oftentimes call the Ryan family or the Banfield family part of your?
Primarily, it would be in-person meetings when they were in town.
Okay. And this call would stand out as not being the usual contact?
I don't remember specifically the call. Based on the date, I would imagine that it was to notify them of the proffer.
Sir, can you see what's on your screen?
Yes.
And have you reviewed that?
What number is that?
Sorry, Defense Exhibit 103.
103, thank you.
Yes.
Do you know when that text occurred?
I believe that was during the proffer.
Okay, so you were in the adjacent room
Correct.
and you were, well, you tell me, who are you texting with?
Deputy Chief Bruce.
Okay, and you're going to move that in as
All right, any objection to 103?
No, ma'am.
Defense Exhibit 103?
Publish.
So let's go through this. It's tough to see what's under the banner there. Do you know what you wrote?
I think it says no real response yet. I did let Klingon know.
Okay, and you said this is while it's going on?
Correct.
So were you communicating via text with Klingon at the same time you were communicating with Patrick Bruce?
So we had a group thread for questions. And then I was communicating with Deputy Chief Bruce as well.
Okay. Who was on the group thread that you're talking about?
I believe it was Mr. Klingon, Detective Goodell, Detective Bryant, and Ms. Bristler.
Oh, shoot. You can't hear me say a word. I'm mute. Okay. It says no real response yet. And I did let Klingon know. What did Klingon say to you? I told him I would accept his humble apology in writing. He said you, Patrick, were right all along. Well, at least he gave me that. Yep. If it hadn't been for me, you and Sally, this never happens. Confirmed call. Okay, when they say confirmed call, I believe that they're saying that the call that Juliana made to Joe Ryan, maybe that's the confirmed call that they're talking about.
With Deputy Chief Bruce as well.
Okay. Who was on the group thread that you're talking about?
I believe it was Mr. Klingon, Detective Goodell, Detective Bryant, and Ms. Bristler.
Was Detective Miller on there?
No.
Was there anybody on there that had expertise in digital forensics when those
No.
questions were being asked? Was he still in his position at the time this took place?
Yes.
Okay.
And
They're
was
going
there
up.
any reason why he would have been excluded as the expert?
Okay. Confirmed call. She was the one on the phone, you mean? Yes. This is actually making me angry.
So for the investigative and interview stuff like that, it would be the homicide unit, and then we shared that video later with him.
Okay, but was there any benefit to having his perspective, like it would any other part of the agency that did some investigation?
I mean, I think there's a number of people you can have that are present. So we made it to task force and provided that recording to everybody else afterwards.
Okay, but there would have been room because there was an ante room that you were in.
Sure, there would have been room.
Okay, and so who made the decision to exclude Detective Miller?
Mr. Klingon determined who was going to be there.
Okay, that's different from my question. You just answered my question by saying he determined who was going to be there. Was there anybody who excluded Detective Miller?
Mr. Klingon, I guess. I mean, he determined who was going to be invited.
And okay,
So I imagine the converse would be true.
So because he wasn't there, it had to have been Eric Klingon.
Objection, counsel's testifying, and I think that would be a mischaracterization of the defendant's, or the witness statement.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
I don't want to mischaracterize. Tell me what you were just saying about who was invited and who wasn't.
Mr. Klingon, I believe in concert with Ms. Bristler from the prosecution team, determined who and where this would occur and who would be invited or excluded.
Now,
Where's the prosecution team? They get yeeted too?
It looks like there's additional back and forth chat. What's that about?
It's about the, has been characterized, the catfish theory.
And does that highlight the dispute as to who believed in it and who didn't?
I think that's fair, yeah.
And is that why you said you were looking for an apology?
Yes, I think we had back and forth. I advocated strongly that I didn't believe that Christine had set up or sent any of those messages. That wasn't the theory that went forward until Juliana came in and told the truth.
So this is a celebration of you being right.
I don't know if I would call it a celebration, but it's a realization. Confirmation.
And then it looks as though everybody's telling everybody how great they were. Is that?
Objection reading.
Sustain deleting.
What's the rest of it about?
I think it's just acknowledging that we had gotten it right, and that now everybody was on the same page, and that nobody believed that we were not right.
Okay. And so you arrived at the determination that you were right because Juliana Perez Magalhaes told the story.
Yeah, I think she filled in the blanks, but By and large, what she said was consistent with what I believe the evidence showed pretty much within my first 30 days of being involved in the case.
Okay, so were you aware that it was 2 weeks before trial when this proffer occurred?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your position that you needed her to testify against Brendan in this case?
I thought it would be helpful, but I don't think it was necessary based on the evidence.
And your opposition to Detective Miller's executive summary was based on her testimony, correct?
No, I opposed it from pretty early on, but I think it was confirmation. It gave context to a lot of things that were in there.
Okay. And it was at that point that you worked through his chain of command, Sergeant Ames, to get him to change the executive summary, correct?
I never asked him to change anything. I asked him to review it, be able to explain why he arrived at the conclusions that he had, and to be able to explain why he doesn't believe that that to be the case anymore. And my understanding is that's what he did.
Not with you?
Not with me, no.
Okay. Did you ever go and ask him what his original position was?
I think it's well documented in his summaries. I mean,
No,
we
I'm
discussed
sorry.
it.
That was an inartful question. Did you ever ask him to go through like a math problem and show your work as to how he arrived at those conclusions?
Yeah, we looked at it time and time again.
Okay, but I mean, I'm talking about a comprehensive explanation based on his expertise that arrives at his, did you ever do that?
Judge, I'm going to object to ask and answer, not just now, but earlier, prior to the break.
Sustained. Next question.
I agree.
When you say you talked about it from time to time, is that a comprehensive review of his work?
I mean, we spent a lot of hours in his lab, yes.
Okay, and were you
long?
questioning him?
I mean, we discussed all the things. There was something in the digital side that I didn't understand. I would ask him to explain to me what he felt that it meant.
Okay, so at least one aspect of whatever you didn't understand, you would ask for his explanations. I guess what I'm asking is, did there ever come a time when you had him explain his entire report?
Probably not all at once. Obviously, it was, there was extensive evidence, but we went through a significant chunk of it in his lab, yes.
Now, just specifically with regard to the executive summary, when did you recall, when did he complete it and when did you see it?
He completed it prior to my arrival, so I saw it, sometime probably in that first 30 days in March of 24.
Okay, and at any point did you agree with it?
I think in the first bit, I just took it all in. I tried to take in all the evidence. I spoke with a number of detectives and sort of got their impressions, and then I reviewed it. And then I had questions about the analysis. I think part of the issue is it was not the data that I had issue with, it was the interpretation.
Okay. You mean the statements surrounding the data? The findings?
For instance, he attributes things to people rather than devices.
Okay. And is that something in your digital forensic experience that's not best practices?
I think it's difficult to say who's holding a device if you don't have a lot of context.
I think that's, I mean,
Is that the question?
isn't that why digital forensics is what it is?
Well, they extract data and look and tell you what's going on. And I think probably some of his analysis went outside the bounds of what he would normally do.
And
Ooh.
did you ever directly address him about that statement you just made?
Yeah, we discussed it, and I think he agrees
You think he agrees?
that it was beyond what he normally does, yes.
Okay.
Do you agree? Hey, do you agree? He did state on the stand that very thing. Hang on. Okay. He did state. Okay, that was his first. He came back again. Okay. He got the data from the device. On one night, the account was created. Fetlife account was created on the 17th of January. Her phone was used. Co-defendant admitted to using the device. The data was still the same. Bryant and Goodell were lead detectives. Right, he could not determine who was behind the screens. Ugh.
Were you aware of the peer review of his executive summary and files?
Oh, shoot, it jumped. Hold on. They must be done for the day. Okay, let's see if I can get it back. I don't remember where we were. Ah. Okay, let's see if this will get us back.
You know, in compliance with the industry standards, and as you said, University of Alabama confirmed that.
Okay.
University of Alabama. I don't think we're there yet.
Number 108.
Okay, we're not there yet.
So I saw it, you know, sometime probably.
Took place?
Yes.
And was there any reason why he would have been excluded as the expert?
Okay, we did that.
I guess what I'm asking is, did there ever come a time when you had him explain his entire report?
Okay, we're close. Talking about peer review.
I'm going to ask you to look at defense
Okay, hang on. There's something about peer review.
differentiates experts to investigators.
Well, I think the expert,
Objection, relevance, I'm not sure.
When this proffer occurred?
yes.
Okay. And was it your position that you needed her to testify against Brendan in this case?
I thought it would be helpful, but I don't think,
Okay, sorry, hang on.
I believe that's, yeah, it's a phone call.
Okay. And so would you oftentimes call
Yeah, we know that's
your work?
already done that.
His review. You know, in compliance with the industry standards, and as you said, University of Alabama confirmed that.
Okay. So what did you do to determine?
Okay, maybe this
I
might be
think
it.
you said that you don't have any problems with the data that was physics that you did. And forgive me if I've asked you this, but it's something that I want to make sure we cover. Did you ever extract anything from any of the funds you
See interviews and conduct interviews over a course of a career. I'm not aware of any, but if it happens.
regarding the passwords?
Okay, we didn't get into that.
Password was
No, we didn't get into that.
the Au Pair.
Okay, we didn't get into this.
Or her device would leave as she arrived at the.
Okay,
Isn't that why digital forensics is what it is?
okay,
Best practices?
okay, here we
I
are.
think it's difficult to say who's holding a device if you don't have a lot of context.
I think that's, I mean, isn't that why digital forensics is what it is?
Well, they extract data and look and tell you what's going on. And I think probably some of his analysis went outside the bounds of what he would normally do.
And did you ever directly address him about that?
Okay, we know that.
Were you aware of the peer review of his
Here we go.
executive summary and files?
So there was stuff sent down to University of Alabama, I believe. My understanding was that they were trying to do a deeper dive into certain devices and see if they could pull more information than perhaps Fairfax County has the ability to pull.
Were they able to do that? Do you know?
I don't think they really got much further than he did.
Were you aware that they concurred in his findings?
My understanding is that they concurred that he extracted things properly and that the data was correct.
Did that peer review change anything in terms of your position as to the executive summary?
I'm sorry, I lost you. Can you speak into the microphone? Yeah, it's hard to hear up here. I'm sorry.
Did the peer review change your thought process as to the executive summary that he had created?
I think it gave me confidence in the data, but it didn't affect the analysis part of it.
Okay. And so perhaps I've asked you this. What was your experience in the analysis of digital forensics?
Well, you're looking at what the data is. I've been an investigator for almost 2 decades. So I've looked at lots of data and developed theories or trends, stuff like that.
But can't anyone do that?
Objection, argumentative.
Okay, next question.
Would that be difficult for anyone else to do?
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't think so.
I volunteer as tribute to look at the data and tell you what it is. Us armchair detectives, we know exactly how to interpret data.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in investigations and putting things together, and you look at, patterns of life and how people act and how humans behave. And this is just more data points to look into.
Now, and that's what, is that what differentiates experts to investigators?
Well, I think the
Judge,
expert,
Objection, relevance. I'm not sure where we're going with this. He's not an expert. He's testifying as his recollection of the events.
Well, I think the discussion is about Brendan Miller's work.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Next question.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I thought it was a good question.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to look at defense number 104.
And more text messages.
Is that yours?
yes,
And that's with Deputy Chief Bruce.
yes.
You're going to move that in as defense exhibit 104.
Any objection?
No objection. We also would not object to 105 as it appears to be page 3 of this same conversation.
Okay, 104 and 105 in evidence.
And sir, you're in the blue, correct?
Yes.
And so your first statement there, what does that mean?
Show us.
Which-
Show us. I know they
First
will.
statement in blue.
I'm sorry, without the microphone, it's very difficult to hear you and understand.
The first statement in blue?
B guided her through B was Brendan.
Oh, so you're recounting her story?
Correct, this is during the proffer.
And is this in the ancillary or
Correct.
the ante room of?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
This is actually making me angry. B guided her through. Brendan guided her through. Cause 90% of people we work with are absolute morons. So the only thing we have gotten wrong is you and I believe Christine was deceased before Joe got there. Oh.
And
So
this is
far.
Detective Bruce's statement?
That's Deputy Chief Bruce speaking, yes.
Deputy Chief Bruce, sorry.
With all intensive purposes, we made total sense considering what we knew. The plan was not for her to shoot unless things went wrong. Interesting. Joe was writhing, so she shot. Had a gun on her the whole.
And did you have any, in your text group, did you have any say in any of the questions that were being asked?
Yeah, so we, in the text group, if there was something we wanted to explore, we would put a question in there, and then Mr. Klingon would either ask the question or not, depending on, his expertise, I guess, as a prosecutor.
Okay. Sir, it looks as though 105 has been admitted to evidence.
Yes, that's correct.
You recognize that?
Yes,
Okay, and is this part of the chain of text messages back and forth?
yes, exhibit.
And the discussions in, I guess, the gray is then Deputy Chief Bruce, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you're in the blue responses?
Yes.
And so these are what you guys are in this, well, tell me what you're talking about there.
So we're recounting some of the stuff that's coming on from the proffer and talking about some of the days leading up to the proffer. And then sort of, I guess, the response of people that became aware of it.
And the discussions about specific situations, those were your theories going in, correct?
Well, confirming the account that Brennan and Juliana created the account is, yes, part of our theory. And then the revenge rape or was she dead was a question as part of that theory as well.
And it looks as though
Let's
Glenn is
see
a
it.
prosecutor, correct?
Let's see
Yes.
it.
And there was comments about him?
Yes,
And what about Kyle and Tommy? Who were they?
that's Detective Bryant and Detective Goodell.
Okay, and those were the two head detectives at the time?
Correct.
And is that just banter between the two of you?
Yeah, it's a text thread between the two of us.
Let's see it. Come on. Why can't we see it? Show us, show us, show us, show us.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to look at defense number 108.
No, show us 105. Gosh darn it.
Is that
We
your
didn't get to see 105.
communication?
Yes,
And who are you communicating with?
Deputy Chief Bruce.
You're going to move that in as defense exhibit 108?
Any objection?
No,
Want to
thank
wait in
you.
evidence and publish?
So
Publish to the people.
it looks like, well, tell me what you're saying here.
Which part?
This part.
I think you just pointed at Deputy Chief Bruce's comment.
Okay,
Let
were
me
you part of
see
that?
it. Show us.
Yes, I think what it's referring to is where I say
On
this is good.
TV.
She confirmed that he would send her home a little early from the gym so she could post when he was not in the house.
Thank
Which
you.
was confirmation of some of the digital forensics where you could see that Juliana's device and Brennan's device were at the Lifetime Fitness.
Okay. Are you alone or no? Yes, listening now. This is good. She just confirmed that he would send her home a little early from the gym so she could post when he was not in the house. So it's okay to tell Chief and Brooke it's 100% a catfish.
and rest in, and then Juliana would leave, and as her device would leave, as she arrived at the Stablebrook address.
I don't think this is responsive to my question.
Or you want to ask your question again?
Yes. This area up here, does that indicate that you were still in the room?
Yes,
Okay, so this is while this is going on?
Mhm.
And the things that you're reporting to Deputy Chief Bruce at the time, are those some of the questions that you were sending in or some of the things that you were trying to get?
So it's okay to tell Chief and Brooke it's 100% a catfish. Yes. Anything else juicy? Nothing too crazy so far. She is ice cold. But she confirmed they created the account. Yes.
The au pair to say?
Is
I wasn't
it a
trying to get her to say
revenge?
anything.
Is
We were
it
trying to ask
revenge
questions
rape
to-
or is it revenge rape or was Christine
get to the truth.
Okay,
And
and
like
were you asking questions regarding that particular incident you just started wanting to talk about?
So that's something I think that came up. Juliana put that out there without being prompted. But like I said, we confirm it with the digital evidence, and it was, corroborating what she was saying.
Now, when she confirmed that she created the account, did she tell you what the email address was?
I don't recall.
Did she tell you what the password was?
I don't think so, but I also don't think she specifically said that she created the account. I think that she said Brendan created the account.
Okay. Did she say that she was there when Brenda
Objection,
created?
calling for hearsay.
Right.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Was there anyone in the text group asking her or suggesting questions to Mr. Klingon regarding the account platform?
I don't recall.
Was there anybody suggesting questions in what you saw regarding the passwords?
I don't recall. I do remember that Mr. Klingon had a list of, I think, over 100 questions that he hoped to get to. So a lot of that was covered in there.
Do you know what the origin of those questions were?
I think his review of the case, I don't know though.
Okay. What, if anything, did you know about any meetings that Juliana Perez Magalhaes and her attorney had with Mr. Klingon prior to that?
I'm not aware of any, but if it happened outside of my knowledge, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so it was your impression that she walked in there, and
Objection, counsel's testifying, leading.
what was your impression of the interview?
She appeared truthful, and we were able to corroborate a lot of what she said.
Oh, okay, I mean, is that the measure of the truthfulness for you?
I think when you see interviews and conduct interviews over a course of a career, you start to kind of get a feel if somebody's being truthful or not. And one of the ways we do that is corroborate through other evidence.
Okay. Now, with regard to your digital forensics that you did, and forgive me if I've asked you this, but it's something that I want to make sure we cover. Did you
I had
ever
to make sure I was
extract
at
anything
1.25.
from any of the phones or devices, or I think there were 60 of them?
No,
Okay. And I think you'd said that you don't have any problems with the data that was generated from those.
no, as far as I can tell, the data appears to be extracted, in compliance with the industry standards. And as you said, University of Alabama confirmed that.
Okay, so what did you do to determine what the industry standards were and what he did?
I just took what the Detective Miller represented to me and the University of Alabama report.
Okay, so he says this was industry standards and you accepted it.
Yes.
Okay, so there wasn't any real, I mean, to inform your conclusions, there wasn't any real investigation.
Objection, leading.
Was there any investigation relating to digital forensics that informed the conclusions that you were working from?
I mean, I reviewed the data. I don't think I did any quote unquote digital forensic work. He provides data. In this case, he provided some other reports and summaries, but the data is the data. You can look at it and sort of figure out what it means. If there was something I didn't understand, I would ask him for help. But it was the analysis, I think, of that data that I thought was problematic.
Okay. Courts and bills.
All right, yes, sir.
Wow.
This particular statement right here on the October 25th, that was when you were still in the ante room where the recant was happening, correct?
Correct.
And that's a statement
Show us.
that you wrote. Is that what was said?
I mean, that's my understanding of what was said. I don't recall the specific wording.
Okay, but you were in the moment and you said that.
Yes, that would be what I understood it to mean.
Okay.
What is it?
Now, did you, I know. it was a
Show
very-
us.
Or I won't say it that way.
Court TV.
One of the
Come on.
things, well, what if any,
Court TV, you suck.
I'm sorry, Judge, strike that.
That's right.
I want to make sure.
Court TV, show us.
Was there anything that occurred in the recant when you were in the ante room that challenged any of the questions that she was asked, or any of the answers that she gave?
I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me. I'm sorry.
Was she challenged on any points in this
Here
recant?
it is.
You mean, did Mr. Klingon ask her clarifying questions? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, do you remember any of those?
Not offhand, no.
Did, so the people that were in the room, and I can name Detective Bryant?
Detective Bryant, Detective Goodell, Miss Sprisler, Mr. Klingon, I think Mr. Campbell and his co-counsel may have been in there as well, and Juliana.
Okay, and that was it.
I believe so.
Did anyone else, other than Mr. Klingon, ask questions of Juliana Perez Magalhaes?
I don't think so.
Did anybody, if you had a vantage point to see this, did anybody interrupt him to try to get a point across before he asked a question?
I didn't have the ability to monitor the room. I could only video monitor. I could see it on the phone, or got me crossed up there. It was just an open phone line, so I couldn't see anything
I'm
until
sorry.
afterwards.
So there was no video feed?
No,
Okay.
I couldn't see into the room.
Did you hear anyone challenging like a detective would to what she was saying?
Objection leading.
Status speeding.
What if anything did any of the detectives or the prosecutor do relating to issues that came up in the questioning?
I don't remember specifically. I think the plan was for Mr. Klingon to do all the talking from the prosecution side. I don't know that any detectives actually spoke during that proffer. And there were definitely times when he asked clarifying questions, but that's specifics. I'd have to watch the video. It's been quite some time.
Okay, and I guess that brings up another point. Is it unusual in your investigations to have the prosecutor question the cooperating co-defendant versus a detective?
To me, it was a little unusual in a state case. In a federal case, that was standard.
Right, but in federal cases,
Objection, counsel's testifying.
All right.
there's a little more,
He's still
Objection.
testifying.
Next question.
and did you know whether those people in the room could say something, or were they told not to say something?
My recollection is that the plan was for Mr. Klingon to do all the talking. I don't recall there was a, specific statement that nobody else should talk, but that was the plan going in.
Were you involved in any sort of a breakout session between the groups, between the recants?
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Well, there's, and I think it was on your email, there were two proffers. And so there was a break between 1 and 2. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I wasn't present for the second one. I'd been transferred by then.
Well, no, sorry. There were 2 separate recorded proffers on October 25th. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think on February 7th, there was another proffer. That's probably what you're thinking of.
Yeah, so in the first proffer, between the 2 sessions, we had food. We had taken Juliana out of the jail prior to her receiving a meal, so we provided her some pizza.
Okay. And then were you there for the second portion?
Yeah, I was in the room next door listening.
and-
Same through the whole time. There was just a break in between.
Okay, so the break occurred where everybody could join together?
Yes.
Okay, and in that, was there any sort of a discussion amongst the potential questioners that were in the room?
Not that I recall. We kind of scarfed down some food and got back in there because it was starting to get late.
And so it sounds to me like, so Eric Klingon basically controlled the whole process.
Yes.
Was he willing to take input from you?
Yes.
He did. Did he take input?
Yes. Like I said, we had a text group where we, provided questions and, and I kind of remember in some cases we would send a question, but by the time he kind of finished the thought. He already got to that question. And then there were some times where he asked the question. I don't remember the specifics. I just kind of remember that flow.
Was it ever suggested that she take some sort of a lie detector or anything like that before she would be offered that plea?
Judge, objection. It's not relevant.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Was there any discussion as to how to confirm her veracity by whatever means?
Yeah. So like I said before, we tried to corroborate a lot of what she said through evidence, whether it be digital or documentary. Like, for instance, the windows, we were able to, that was something we had no idea about. And then once the proffer had been completed, we were able to kind of run that down and confirm it.
Now, did you ever say to any of the investigators that they arrested an innocent woman, talking about Juliana?
No.
That was never said by you to anyone?
About me?
By you to anyone?
No. I think what you're probably referring to is I expressed concerns about the articulation of how, the reasons they charged. But I think the charge was solid.
And who was that with that you expressed those concerns?
Detective Bryant.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Okay, so let's talk about this case and how the Fairfax County Police Department Homicide Division got involved. Do you all have a rotation for call-outs when there is a crime committed?
Yeah, so there's what we call a homicide list. And there's, generally about 12 detectives on the squad, give or take, and there's an order, and it kind of rotates through that list so that nobody's overwhelmed with work at any one time.
Okay, so when the call came out for the murder at the Banfield's home, was Detective Bryant essentially on
I
call?
believe he was up for murder. Again, that was prior to my time there. So
Okay. And so his assignment, you indicated that it's not uncommon for cases to be handled by multiple detectives over the course of the case's life. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, and in this situation, this case has been pending for 1 month shy of 3 years. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, so there's nothing really out of the ordinary about multiple detectives having been involved in this case.
not at all.
Okay. Likewise, this was a really big case for Fairfax County homicide, correct?
It created a lot of attention, media attention, so there was a lot of eyes on it.
And there was a huge volume of evidence to go through, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And as such, your leadership was very involved in this matter, making sure that they were up to date on how the case was progressing, correct?
yes,
Okay. So was there anything, again, intended to be hidden from the Commonwealth by making sure your leadership was aware of developments in the case as they arose?
absolutely not.
Okay. Turning to Ms. Perez Magalhaes' proffer, you all were working as a team in developing the questions for Ms. Perez Magalhaes, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and it was simply determined that Mr. Klingon would be the mouthpiece in the room, nothing more, correct?
correct.
Okay. Ms. Frissler was present as she sits here at the table today. This is Ms. Frissler, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and Ms. Perez Magalhaes' attorney was present, correct?
correct,
Detectives Goodell and Bryant were present.
correct.
All right, and you were all smushed in a room, is that accurate?
Well, they
good
were
for you.
smushed. I
They were
was
smushed, you were
comfortable in
outside.
Ms. Bristler's office.
Okay. Was there room for anyone else in that particular room at the time?
It's a small room, as you know.
Okay, thank you. Her proffer was 2 weeks before her trial, is that correct, Ms.
Yes.
Perez Magalhaes? And that was more than a month after Mr. Banfield had been charged, correct?
Correct. He was charged September 16th. I believe the proffer was October 25th, about 6 weeks.
So the proffer was not the determining factor in whether or not to charge Brendan Banfield with the murder of his wife and of Joe Ryan, correct?
Correct.
What was it about Ms. Perez Magalhaes' proffer that you believed made her to appear truthful?
Well, so we were able to corroborate through digital evidence that she left the gym. She basically said that
I'm sorry, could you put your microphone on? What's your objection?
Objection to, it's outside the scope of what I've asked. It's an open-ended question as to the investigation, and it's.
I'll overrule the objection. All right, continue.
Please continue.
So she essentially kind of confirmed the sequence of events that I believed occurred. Part of the way we did that was at the digital. There were things along the way, for instance, going to the gun range, we were able to see pictures of that. She talked about leaving the gym, that Brendan told her to leave the gym early to go home so that he wouldn't be in the house while the Fetlife or Telegram account were active. And we were able to see that on the geolocation of her device and Brendan's device. And then we could see her log or see a log on the Telegram shortly after that device arrived in the area. The windows was something we hadn't had any idea about once she.
When you say the windows, do you mean the replacement of the windows in the Banfield?
Right. So she said that there was a time where Brendan had the windows replaced with windows that were like soundproof, and he asked her to go stand in the driveway, or actually he asked her to stand in the bedroom and scream while he stood in the driveway to see if screams would be able to be heard. She said that she did not want to do that, and so he screamed and she went outside. We were then able to track down a receipt and some emails, I believe, about the windows, and ultimately find the company and speak with the salesman who spoke to Brendan. And there was just a lot of things that over the course of August until February, in the digital evidence that she was able to corroborate for us in that, or that we were able to corroborate her statement after.
All right, thank you. Just a final question from me. I'm sure council will have more. Did you change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you direct anyone to change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
All right, redirect.
Lieutenant Giacchio, you were ordered by the court to turn over evidence that should have been turned over months before during the summer. Isn't that correct?
No, I gave everything that I had.
The text messages and the emails that you were seeing here were turned over in July when we had a discovery order in November. Isn't that true?
Yes, and that's something that we have never turned over in any other case that I'm aware of. So as soon as the court ordered it, we complied.
Okay, and when you say we, who are you talking about?
Fairfax County Police.
Okay, and so the issues relating to the conflict in the case were exculpatory evidence, wasn't that correct?
Objection calls for legal conclusion.
Sustained. Next question.
Did that ever occur to you that that was something that should have been turned over?
Objection is to the form.
Sustained is the form.
Did the emails and the text messages that you have just witnessed, were they, did that ever occur to you that that was something that should have been turned over on the discovery order?
An objection, Judge. I think we're still on the legal conclusion. He indicated that it was turned over once he received a court order.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Who in your division is in charge of looking to see whether something's exculpatory?
Objection is to relevance.
How's it relevant?
I think the question, this is in response to her question that.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
In terms of the transfers of Brendan Miller, or actually, I think you were involved with the transfer of Kyle Bryant. What was your reasoning behind that?
Well, I gave input, and my input was that I thought he should stay.
And in fact, he was then removed?
Yes, he was ultimately transferred.
Okay. And what was the reason, the October 25th situation?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled if you answer.
I think it was a combination of the withholding the proper for 5 days and, and just being wrong about with the analysis in this case.
And you're talking about being wrong after the Juliana Magalhaes proffered.
Well, I think that's when he realized it. I think after that, there was nobody on the police department that I'm aware of that doesn't believe the current theory of events.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Is this witness subject to recall?
No.
Oh, no?
No, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess of 15 minutes. Don't do any outside research and do not talk to anybody about the case. Thank you. And just a reminder, we were going to 5:30, so keep that in mind on your break, okay?
Okay. I'm going to end this stream here because it's 1 hour and 34 minutes, and then we'll pick it back up for part 3. So, Mr. Giacchio was on the stand. So he cleared up a whole bunch of things. So there was infighting about the theory of this case. Was it a catfishing case or was it something else? And so it's relevant from the text messages between Giacchio and John Patrick Borsch about what each one of them were thinking, and then the other parts of the team were morons. That's basically what they said verbatim. So there was a whole bunch of, the defense had a whole bunch of things, but in the big, I mean, if we're talking big picture, it really doesn't matter to me. To me, it doesn't really matter. They're having infighting about the theory of the case and the digital evidence. And one person's analysis said that this person manipulated the phones, but they didn't have any corroboration to that. And until Juliana Magalhaes recanted, then they said, okay, then we know who manipulated what and where. And then we went back and looked at her data location, which I thought she got a new phone. So I don't know how or why they got that, but they didn't get into that. Also talking about her talking about the windows. They didn't know about the windows. They didn't know about the gun range. So she had given them not only the things, the pieces that they were missing to sort of fit the catfish thing, they also got some more information. Probably because they had Ryan's information and they had his information that supposedly came from Christine, because they could see Ryan's information, Christine's information, but they didn't know who was doing what. Working with morons. I have that down. And just people were transferred out because apparently they weren't doing a good job. So that's pretty much what we have for this last part of the testimony. So I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to hear more. We still have more in this trial, so come back for part 3. Thanks for watching Legalese 1, 2, 3. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.